At this time, you might be thinking whether I'm having enough time to face this time A-level accounting paper. You might be watching this video before 10 months or before 6 months, before 4 months or before 2 months. Doesn't matter. What I'm going to do today is to show you how the accounting paper will be structured. I mean, from which areas most of the questions are being tested and from which areas most of the marks are being allocated, right? And what are the areas you need to focus now? Because you are having a very limited time. I know students are studying harder and harder when the exam is near only. If you are a student who are studying from the beginning, like from 2 years before, it doesn't matter, no problem. But if you are a person who is still thinking about whether can I get an A pass, the answer is yes. Why? Because if you work smart, we say don't work hard but work smart. So if you work smart now, you are having enough time to get through the paper and score a pass for this. How to do that? How to do that? I will explain. So you might be thinking, who this person? Who is this person who is giving advices to us, right? Lamai, I'm Hashan Waduge. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Online Accounting.lk, and I'm a lecturer for Chartered Accounting and Ability. I'm a Chartered Accountant, right? I did A levels back in few years back, and I was the island third in accounting subject, right? For the accounting subject at that time. So then I qualified as a Chartered Accountant, and also I qualified from the Sri Jayawardhanapura, graduated from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura with a accounting degree, right? So for the accounting department, around 150 to 200 students from the Sri Lanka. So the top 150 to 200 students are being selected. So through that, and also I got qualified as Chartered Accountant. So then I'm currently following lectures for Chartered Accounting. I'm not conducting a single lecture for advanced level. Make sure I'm not an advanced level lecturer, I'm not an advanced level tutor, but what I'm going to do today, representing onlineaccounting.lk, to give you a plan, to give you a focus, to give you an idea whether you can score an A pass for this time A level examination, right? So as you know, accounting paper, how that is been structured. So accounting, Lamai, make sure you can get an A pass, okay? I'm 100% guaranteed if you go with this, you can get an A pass, right? So I will be dividing the board into two. Right? Dividing the board into two. Why? Because you are having two papers for accounting, right? The reason I am using a ruler, so it will be clearly displayed to you, right? So you know you are having first paper or paper 1, and second paper, part 2, second paper, right? So Lamai, how the first paper will be structured? How? That is how that I will divide it into two. First one, MCQ, how many questions? In the first paper you are having 30 MCQs. One MCQ will have 2 marks, so the total is 60. Then the next one, that is short answers, right? short questions. Short questions, right? So that is you are having 20 questions, one is having 2, so the total is 40, so the final one is 100. So you are having 100 marks from the first paper. I will tell you how this paper is constructed. I mean from which areas normally the paper setter is testing questions, but I will be coming to that after the second paper. Why? Then only I can give you a clear idea on how you need to focus. What are the main areas? Right. So when it comes for the second paper I will divide again. I will divide again to two parts. I will divide that again to 2 parts. First one I would say mandatory questions. I would say mandatory questions. Right? So I would say first one mandatory questions, and the next one so how many questions you are having mandatory questions in the second paper? 2 questions, and the next one that is optional questions. Optional questions, right? You are having mandatory questions as well as optional questions. So then the mandatory questions I will again divide, because how many mandatory questions you are having? You are having 2 mandatory questions. You are having 2 mandatory questions. So I will divide the first one. First one is what? The one we are talking a lot. What is that? That is company accounts. Company accounts will be the first question. Company accounts. Company accounts, how many marks Lamai they will be giving for company accounts? They are giving 20 marks. Right? They are giving 20 marks for company accounts. So in company accounts, what they are normally testing? What is normally they are testing? First thing is profit or loss, and other comprehensive income. Other comprehensive income statement. Next one, changes in equity they test. Changes in equity they test. Then financial position. Financial position they test. Financial position they test. Right? Then is this enough? Profit or loss, changes in equity, financial position, is this enough? This is not enough to satisfy your examiner. Examiner is requesting more. Why? Because company accounts are publicly available accounts. So publicly available accounts means all the interested parties will be looking at these financial statement. So we have to give in the published account format. In that, you are presenting not just these but also notes and workings. Notes and workings, right? So tell me, to go through company accounts, is that enough for you to go through only these? Do you need to go through more than these? Something? Yes. What is that? Lama, you need to go with the accounting standards. Accounting standards, right? Accounting standards. What are the accounting standards? I will write here, okay? Accounting standards. If I am having a time, I will do a video for this, but I cannot promise, right? I cannot promise. So if I am having a time, I will try. Accounting standards, Lama, you can divide it into two. So if you learn chartered, you know everything of accounting standards. But for your A-level examination, that is, scope is very narrow. You are having a small number of accounting standards. First thing is LKSs. LKSs, how many LKSs you are having? You are having LKS 1 to LKS 41. In between, some of the standards are removed, but you are having this much, but that is not applicable for you. For you, it is quite few numbers available. So starting from the presentation of financial statement, then you are going for the biological assets in 41. But that is not in syllabus, I will tell you. So then you are having SLFRSs. You will be learn this if you go through the professional career. If you learn chartered, Sri Lankan chartered, the most recognized accounting qualification in Sri Lanka, right? And also in the world. So it is, recognized in like 90 to 100 countries. So if you learn that, you will be getting an idea. So SLFRS you are having from 1 to 17, right? 1 to 17, 17 introduced newly, that is insurance contracts, but that is not in new scope. I will tell you what is in new scope. So in accounting, so A-level accounting, what is in the syllabus? In A-level accounting, what is in the syllabus? That is starting with LKS 1. Now someone will ask, what about conceptual preamble? Conceptual preamble? Conceptual preamble, that is not a standard, right? That is not a standard. That is a area which you need to go through if there is no standard. So if something is not addressed through a standard, you have to go to the conceptual framework, then you need to look at, okay, this is how you need to do, right? So that is not a standard, make sure. So this is, you have to learn LKS 1, the presentation of financial statements. Then you are having LKS 2, inventories, LKS 2 inventory. So you need this knowledge to write the company accounts, make sure. And then you are having LKS 7. LKS 7 you are having a big question. I will be telling that in the optional. That is cash flow statements. And LKS 8, that is accounting policies. And LKS 10, that is events after the reporting period. Then you are having a big standard, the most important standard in your A-level syllabus, LKS 16, property, plant and equipment. Then you are having LKS 37, that is provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. So from SLFRSs, what you are having only two. SLFRS 15, this is revenue, but the correct word is not revenue from contracts with customers. So SLFRS 15 means just you can say less revenue. So you know how to recognize the revenue and all will be discussing through here. This is changed, right? From LKS 18 previously it was changed to SLFRS 50. Then SLFRS 16 you are having, that is leases. So these standards are there in your syllabus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these 9 standards are important for you because that can be tested, and mainly with the company accounts also it could be tested, right? So those are the accounting standards you need to know when you are doing a company accounts question, right? Next one. Now the students are thinking company accounts should be the top priority. No. That you can tell if you haven't looked at the past papers. If you haven't analyzed the past papers, yes, then the company accounts. But if you have analyzed the past papers, what is more important? That is this one, management accounting, right? My favorite area. Why? Because I am a management accounting lecturer. In chartered accounting, I am doing management accounting, right? So that's why my favorite area, but it should be your favorite area too. Why? Because this is where most of the marks will be allocated for your paper, not company accounts. Company accounts is second place. Management accounting is the first place. So management accounting you are having again 20 marks. Again 20 marks. First one, that is from which area? That is from, so they can test from many areas, but I will write all the testable areas. First thing is overhead. Overhead analysis sheet. Analysis sheet, right? Second one, that is inventory control. Inventory control. So through inventory control, what you have to look at? You have to look at the inventory levels. The maximum level, the minimum level, reorder quantity. Okay? FIFO, the VAT, the LIFO, right? So whatever the methods. And then labor cost. Labor cost. So not only those three, but you need to looking at the marginal cost as well. Marginal cost, contribution, how to get the contribution, how to get the break-even analysis, break-even point, and how to get the margin of safety, how to get the margin of safety, how to get the break-even point in both the units and the sales, how to get the CS ratio. So that is through the marginal costing. Marginal costing. Then the final one is investment appraisals. Investment appraisals. Through this, you need to learn about the payback period and as well as NPV, net present value. So basically from these, from one of these or two of these or three of these areas, examiner will be testing around 20 marks, exactly 20 marks. Because these two questions will not be changed. Right? So now you need to know how to put your priority to management accounting as well. Then I'm coming for optional questions. Optional questions. How the optional questions are being structured? How the optional questions? අඩි කෝදුවක් තියෙද්දි මොකටද නිකන් ගහන්නේ නේ? A levels වල ආඩි කෝදුවෙන් ගහන්න ඕනේ නෑ ළමයි, right? You don't need to use the ruler. But sometimes, I mean, I would say if you use a ruler, that is more effective than you just putting it. Because when I was doing A levels, I get the ruler like this, then I put the rules like this. Okay? You can maybe try. So then, here optional questions. First thing you need to learn, that is the accounting equation. Accounting equation. Accounting equation. For accounting equation, normally how many marks that is being tested? Around. Lama here optional question, you need to select 3 out of 4. Okay, you are having 4 questions. From 4 questions, you just need to select only 3. Right? Accounting equation that you need to looking at. Sometimes they can test impact to the equation. Impact to the equation from the transactions. Then explain the transaction. Explain the transactions. So how to explain the transaction? So sometimes the examiner will be giving, okay, assets increase, liability decrease. So you need to explain that transaction. Maybe examiner will be giving you expanded equation and giving some amounts and asking you to explain the transaction. Sometimes it could be tested. And also finally, they would ask you to calculate the profit. Calculate the profit. Calculate the profit, that is from the accounting equation, right? So I mean, after you done with the equation, finally they can ask you to calculate the profit. Next, so for this one, accounting equation, normally how many marks? 10 to 20 marks. 10 to 20 marks could be tested. Make sure. Next one, that is partnerships. Partnerships. This is not the cricket partnerships. This is not the partnerships you are having with your girlfriend or boyfriend? No, right? These are the partnerships in business, right? So when you are having a business with someone, how old you are? You know, that is partnerships. So in partnerships, normally they test around 10 marks. 10 marks, right? Make sure these are very important. Why? You just think, okay, why? No, this is very important. Because maybe you are watching this video 2 months before, maybe 1 month before. But even though at this moment, now you know where I should have to focus. What are the areas you need to study, right? Even when we are teaching for chartered accounting, right? So the professional exams on my chartered accounting AAT. So they are having only 6 months for the exams. So what we do is we do this summarizing, focusing. We give plans for the students based on a paper analysis. That is mostly used for professional exams, right? So if you are coming to chartered accounting after all, you will be going with that. So since you are having the experience, we thought to give that to the A-level students, so you also could follow that. If you are following from the beginning, from all the lessons, that is no problem. But I want to pass the all other students and get an A for all students who are struggling at this moment, right? So I can remember in one of our chartered accounting exam, 1 or 2, some students got the island first prize within a 1 month. Through online accounting, within a 1 month they got. Why? Because of these smart studies, right? So make sure, doesn't matter whether that is chartered accounting, doesn't matter whether that is A-level accounting, if you are smart, if you work smart, study smart, you can get a higher result. So make sure to have a good plan after watching this video. So partnerships, 10 marks. It could be, so you need to looking at the current account, right, and the capital account, right, and the profit distribution, right? Profit distribution you need looking at, and also how to account for the goodwill, and also when a partner enters or retires or retired. So how to account? How to account? That is for partnerships. Then the next one, now that this is the reason I am telling management accounting should be the first priority than company accounts. Why? You will be having another question from management accounting in this area. In this optional questions, you are having another part from management accounting, that is for normally 15 marks. 15 marks. Why? So normally they can ask the marginal costing or even the NPV for like 5 marks. So management accounting anyway will be having a higher mark for than company accounts. So that is I am not going to explain here, because one of these can be tested again for the optional questions. Then next one, cash flow statements. Cash flow statements, right? Cash flow statements, that is 10 marks. 10 marks could be tested through either through direct method, or it could be indirect method. Both can be tested, okay? Both can be tested. Direct or indirect, either direct or indirect. Then primary books. Primary books, Lamai, where you learn in grade 12. Very easy, no? Primary books, that is also around 10 marks. Around 10 marks, right? And also other topics, other lessons, those are basically ratios, accounting ratios, then non-profit organization accounts, then bank reconciliations and control accounts. Control account. So this is ratios around 5 marks. This is around 10. This is around 10. That is enough. Done. Just see now. Lamai, when you looking at the company accounts and management accounting, how many marks you can get? That is around 50. From the total 100 marks of the second paper, you will be getting 50 marks for both these. Very important. Then you just need to go through the accounting equation and also partnerships and the cash flow. And this one is, you know, some students are there, they can do all these, but not the primary books. Because that is learned in grade 12. What are primary books? What are primary books? The purchase journal, right? Sales journal, general journal, okay? That is one. So, other lessons are ratios, non-profit organization. Lama, even you have to only select 3 out of 4. Make sure, focus, go with a plan. Now, you know where the questions are being tested. So, go with a good plan. Then you can score. Then I will be coming for the first paper. How these 100 questions are being tested? Where are these 100 questions coming from? So, Lamai, we have done company accounts with the accounting standards. So, I would say company accounts and accounting standards. Accounting standards, right? That is, how many marks they will test around, 16, they will test you around 16 to 30 marks. 16 to 30 marks, right? From company accounts. Then the next one is management accounting. Management accounting, that is again 16 to 30 marks, right? Again 16 to 30 marks, okay? Then next one, that is partnerships, which is around how many marks? 8 to 14 marks. 8 to 14 marks, right? Then, so partnership 8 to 14 marks. Then accounting equation. Accounting equation, that is around 6 to 10 marks. Around 6 to 10 marks. Then cash flow, statements, that is around again 6 to 10 marks. Again 6 to 10 marks. And ratios, right? That is again, so ratios, concepts and conceptual framework. So the theory part, that is also around 6 to 10 marks. 6 to 10 marks. So make sure, Lamai, these are very important. What I'm telling you, see, once you're done with the second paper, the parts of the company accounts and the management accounting, around 50 marks done. And when you are coming for the first paper, even around 50 marks. Let's say from these two, around 50 marks, or let's say 45, are from company accounts and management accounting. So very important. Why? Now, if you have a clear plan on what you are going to do from each of these lessons, you can do this. Now, how to plan for your studies? How to plan? Lamai, first thing, make sure, now I don't know, you are watching this video for 2 months before, 4 months before, 6 months before, 1 year before, I don't know. But make sure to have a plan from now onwards. Count the number of days you are having, right? So let's say as an example, if you are having 60 days, right? So from 60 days, you just minus 30 days to do the first paper. First paper be better if you do later. Because to do the first paper, you need to have overall idea of all the lessons. So then you are remaining 30 days. Lamai, 30 days divided into the topics. Maybe first week, I will be looking at the company accounts. Second week, management accounting. Third week, accounting equation and partnerships. Fourth week, maybe cash flows and others. So maybe, like that, you can have a good plan. Okay. So then, very important to get the past paper books. Students are searching about the last paper, last 2 papers searching when the exam is near. First thing, buy a past paper book. Right? You have some master guide or something. I'm not promoting master guide. Right? But just get the past paper book with answers. Buy a past paper book with answers. Then, once you are done with each question, start doing the question from 2012. So 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, you can do papers. But don't do the last 2 papers. Why? Lamai, last 2 papers you try to do from beginning to end. Not the lesson wise. So let's say when you stop in somewhere, so last 2 paper you will be doing from the first question to last paper. Last question. Once you are doing with the lessons, you looking at the lesson, you study the lesson, then you do the papers from 2012 to 2 years before your examination. Right? Why? Because then you can do the last 2 papers from top to bottom. It will be a good experience for you, and that is very much important for you to manage your time. Manage your time. So then, coming into the first paper, after done with all these lessons, you come into the first paper. So then you do that and practice the question. Very important. You can get through. Make sure. If you get through, right, from this time, from this moment, if you want to get through, definitely you can go through this plan. Now, make sure this plan is normally applicable for chartered accounting as well. So, for A-level accounting, this is very, very, usable. So, make sure to have a good plan and go with the study. So, if you are, after that, if you want to do chartered accounting and or AAT, maybe you can come to online accounting and join, right? So, for that is the, now students are thinking after A-levels also what to do, but make sure once you are selecting something, looking at the output. What is the output of getting this qualification? What is the value? What is the recognition you are having, right? So, after that only you can get a good decision, because from the recognition point of view, chartered accounting is the most recognized qualification in Sri Lanka, right? And make sure, your parents are spending for you, right? So, for like 13 years you have been learning, right? Maybe you are attending for a private school or a government school. Sometimes maybe if it is a government school, you haven't spent anything other than for like the facilities and all. Right? But your parents spend for tuition classes, for like schools, for your books, stationeries, everything. So do something to make your parents proud. So they will be looking at your result. So once you get the result, they are telling your result to other people with so much of a pride. They tell, my son got 3 A's, my daughter got 3 A's. That is some kind of a satisfaction that you cannot give from anything. You cannot give from money. You cannot give from having a building or a house or giving a car. No. That kind of a satisfaction is needed for all the parents. Make sure your mother, your father will be looking at you. They are waiting for your result. They are waiting to see you are getting through with flying colors. So it is your responsibility to give that pride to your parents. So make sure, Lamai, don't delay, don't give up. Just think from this moment, how many days you are left to the examination. If it is 60 days, if it is 30 days, if it is 90 days, don't no matter. Doesn't matter. Divide the schedule, have a good plan, go with what I have already informed. You know where the questions are coming. Then study, focus on those areas, and please do the papers relating to all these lessons. So after that, you can do the papers from top to bottom. So then you will be fully fit for the examination. So I hope after the exam, so you will be really happy with the decision you have taken to study from now onwards. So I hope all you will follow this and not just pass the exam, but you will be getting A pass for accounting, right? All the very best, and so stay safe.